All right, so let's check out some more bios.
Okay.
Whose turn is it for me not to care about next, I wonder?
Rose
Rose.
Chapman.
Rose lives with her son Adam on a small farm in the suburbs of Detroit. When her husband died suddenly of an aggressive cancer, Rose had no choice but to fend off her son herself, continuing to operate the small family farm to meet their meager needs.
It's always cancer.
Rose also helps deviants seeking to cross the border, seeing them as slaves, fleeing oppression from us. One particular joke thing that I love about Dr. House, Jove, is that they created an anti-running gag when it comes to the whole "it's always cancer" thing. It's never lupus. Basically, Jova, in Dr. House's series, the diagnosis is never lupus. Like there's even a point by season, I think it's 4, where House literally says, no, it's never lupus. Like it starts to get to a point where even he's aware of the pattern. But eventually they do finish it off, and there is one point where even House himself says, and I finally got a diagnosis for lupus. But
anyway. I knew about that.
Let me guess. By the series finale, it's finally lupus.
No, it's like in season 5, if I remember correctly. I forgot which specific season the episode is in, but it's one of the middle seasons.
Hey, Chloe.
Sorry, no time for chat.
Is lupus a rare diagnosis of any kind, too, or is it?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
It is a rare disease. All right, Jova, it's time for Red Herring, the chapter. Not even kidding.
Yeah.
The good news is that you're back in control with Connor and Anka. The bad news is that most of the information you're about to learn in this is rather pointless. Mind you, if you play your cards right, but I think you need some kind of pre-knowledge about the game, you can potentially learn the location of Jericho from here, mind you.
Is this the RA9 stuff or whatever?
Yeah. Basically, we're about to meet Kamski, our old pal that invented the androids of Cyberlife.
You might remember him from one of those shorts we saw before the game release.
But if you remember,
not evil guy.
The newspapers told that nobody knew where he went, but apparently the police knows, and obviously Cyberlife knows. So it's time to pay him a visit and ask him some questions about.
He's probably under government protection or something like that.
Basically, Jova, this is the chapter where the RA9 subplot finally ends. And regardless of the outcome, you never learn what the fuck RA9 means. Two theorizes that Kamski is RA9, but the game never really...
Actually, no.
Oh, is
like I said it in a previous part. I thought RA9 is kind of like a virus, and Markus is happens to be the major, transmitter. But the problem is, the game, there's no real explanation on why it is Markus that is like that, Oh, hold on.
I remember this guy was all over the media when Cyberlife first started selling androids.
It's pretty clear that the ability of going deviant and the transmission between had to be programmed in. So obviously, it's pretty obvious that Kamski had a say into this. But like I said, Jova, despite the game hinting at him to be a bigger villain, a greater scope villain. Hi, Chloe.
And before you ask, it's not the same. That's not the same Chloe. We have our own Chloe, but Kamski has his own Chloes. Well, remember,
twist.
Well, remember, Joe. It's kind of it's kind of like every T800 looks exactly like Arnie. They're made in a factory.
I know.
Basically, Jova, despite the game hinting multiple times at something more with Kamski, they don't really go through unless you get the bad, quote-unquote, baddest ending where all your major characters die.
All right, so now...
now we're grounded, actually.
Okay, we are grounded. However, technically we are grounded. However, I will argue that it's not exactly a bad problem because the time that we're given is literally just enough to check out everything that can be checked out in this room for the sake of giving some extra lines. So I would argue that this...
Amanda's turn.
There you go, turns Amanda. So Amanda... So yeah, like I said, Amanda was the other co-founder.
And apparently, basically the Cyberlife, the major intelligence, the one that Connor reports to, it's based on her appearance.
Oh, there you go too. Apparently this is what Catherine's future turns into. Because remember at the end of the neutral ending, we have Vincent going the space travel. So okay. Ooh, red tree.
The cherry tree. Because of course it is.
This is not Japan, though. What's it doing?
Not even San
But
Francisco.
they're aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, Zen Garden and everything. Kamski strikes as the traditional Hollywood Buddhist guy that only believes in happy thoughts and like that.
You're about to meet your maker, Connor. How's it feel?
This guy seems like a modern-day Norman Osborn.
There you go. All the while we're here, we keep talking and answering to Aang, so I would argue that this is fine. Just for the sake of giving some extra bonding between these two.
Times I wish I could meet my creator face to face.
I used to.
So I could ask him, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, what the fuck am I
I want to
in this
read
game?
you, God.
Can you
I
imagine?
used to be Dr.
Yeah,
Cortex,
that's it.
you know.
And I'm picturing Hank right in front of David Cage.
Again, I'm convinced that some of the lines were improvised and Clancy Brown wanted to,
There is inner thoughts.
spew some hints at what he was really thinking.
Would
Help.
not surprise me. Hell, wouldn't be the first time if Ellen Page's
Yeah.
memoirs or anything.
This
to
is
go off
nice.
of.
So Hank, do you?
How you doing?
So
How
Hank,
long do you
Come
think
here
before
often?
the zombie outbreak starts?
how's Sumo doing?
Isn't anyone gonna offer us tea or something?
Seriously, is it really that customary to keep guests waiting for this long? Unless Kamski is in a wheelchair.
there we go.
No, I feel something unusually. There is something unusual about some trade disputes.
Alright,
So, let me guess. Kamski is now sort of a recluse.
yeah.
And look at
blood.
well, to be fair, it's
I know, I'm
water.
joking.
But the lighting, what kind of lighting is happening in this room where the water looks
Actually,
red?
Not lighting. It's the pool floor when it's on red tiles. But that begs the
looks like
question:
blood.
who makes their pool having red tiles? It's usually blue or cyan.
And look at that.
It looks cool. Like,
And what's with the android swimming in there?
And look at that, Jova. Kamski has his own harem of Chloes.
Yeah, this dude's creepy. I mean, granted.
Get riches, get witches.
I mean, granted, he always screamed creepy from that intro video, but I'm
It's
guessing
like-
he's the red herring.
It's like the main character. It's like one of the characters off.
Also, he's listening to classical music, so that's also a hint.
I've forgotten what that movie was called. Let me check. Ex Machina. That character from Ex
very
Machina
confused.
that had some weird robot-y thing.
So let me guess. If you get like the worst ending possible, he resurfaces, and then it turns out it was all part of his master plan to
Not
regain-
really. He just gets reelected as the chief CEO of CyberLife, and he takes over that. But aside from that, not really. Not much happens.
Kamski's role in this story is very minimal.
All right,
So
time to
maybe
ask your
wasn't
questions.
ready. So let me guess. The real bad guy is Amanda.
Well, we'll see.
Honestly, Jova, that's. I'm not even sure. How can I answer you to that? I'm not sure who's the real bad guy in all of this.
The human's tale, obviously.
Of course,
That's that.
especially the white ones.
Obviously. the white straight male's tale. Those specifically. Those are the worst kind.
Well, one of them's one of our protagonists.
All right, let's see what we can ask him.
Something in the deviant's program seems to emulate emotion. We thought you might know something about how that occurs.
All ideas of viruses that spread like epidemics.
There you go. That's what I think R9 is.
Listen, I didn't come here to talk philosophy. The machines planning a revolution.
Maybe.
Hank, where were you in the Matrix movies when the Matrix movies were happening?
Specifically, the second one.
Well, I think he was busy a bit with Crash Bandicoot still.
All right.
Yeah, 2004,
Now
that's
Kamski is
right.
very fascinated about Connor and wants to put his machine form to a test of sorts.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're programmed to say.
Exactly.
But you,
Personal space.
what do you really want?
Kick your ass.
Don't want anything.
music is tense. There you go. All right, Jova. Now it's time
That's
to
exactly
put
what a
the
deviant
Turing
is.
test. It was mentioned briefly somewhere else, but now it's time to see what it's all about.
What interests me
Hmm?
is whether machines are capable of empathy.
So he's admitting that he created robots clearly with this
Kamski
function in
test.
mind.
Was he bored?
One of the first intelligent models developed.
So why didn't he just say, "Oh, by the way, guys, these things may spout emotions," unless he wanted something of a social uprising?
Well, no,
Like
Jova.
a Barbie doll.
Well, Jova, from what I can gather, that wasn't his intention. It's just that it happened anyway, somehow.
Pedro, from the way this guy is acting, I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't be surprised
So
if he
plastic.
intended that.
A living being.
All right. One thing that I do like is that this chapter also uses our familiarity with our own very Chloe against us as well, because yeah, this is technically not our Chloe, but at the same time, like, does that matter to you if it's not the same Chloe?
All right. If Connor is a machine, he will have no trouble killing Chloe, right?
And I'll tell you all I know.
Oh, that's tempting.
If you feel it's alive. But you'll leave here without having learned anything from me.
Wait, what?
Is this like freaky X
I
Machina?
think we're done here. Come on, Connor, let's go. Sorry to
Yeah, Hank is pretty much giving what he thinks about the subject, so...
Hank will be having none of this shit.
All right, Joe, what would you do?
Kill it.
I
Do
mean,
it. Do it.
No, we're asking what Pedro would do, not what you'd do.
I wish there was a third option. In case you're wondering, Jovan, no, there is no third option. to actually
Well,
shoot
Shiroi,
Kamski.
it's very simple, Shiroi. Hank is telling me not to do it, so I won't.
Yay!
Like, I actually wish there was a third option of shooting Kamski.
Oh, trust me, if that was in there, I would take it probably.
Same.
'Cause I hate this
Without
character.
a second thought.
Because I hate this actor. If you shoot Chloe, Hank gets mad at you because how could you do that? And then it's not a person; it's a machine. That's the thing. Basically, Dwebs. Considering you've been showing empathy and emotions up until this point, Hank is disappointed if you suddenly become so cold in here. Basically.
so what's the info Kamski gives you?
You don't want to ruin your relationship with Hank Senpai.
Like I said, Jova, he tells you about what he thinks about RA9, which amounts to basically nothing. And if you ask him the right question, probably which specific one is, he basically tells you where the location of the Jericho ship is. I don't know. I don't remember specifically how he knows about it, but you basically you get to know it and you can skip
that's
the next
important.
sequence.
The exit of my programs. You never know.
That's foreshadowing for later.
Again, I'm totally convinced that this guy knew and intended for this to happen. I mean, he's
That's the
acting
problem,
very
Jova. All
slimy.
the signs in direction points at this, but the game doesn't go through it.
I mean, okay. In the ending,
Oh,
when he
I
becomes
really
president of the-
love Hank's reaction here.
That was our chance to learn something, and you let it go.
Yeah, I know what I should have done. I told you I couldn't.
Just needs a
Oh.
hug.
Okay?
Well, maybe you did the right thing.
Aww.
Hank
Wow.
is Hank is like, wow, he's growing up so fast. No. Remember, that's Hank's primary character arc. He's been disappointed with the world. However, the fact that Connor, a robot, is showing more empathy than most humans he knows, that's what touches
An
him.
android restored Hank's faith in humanity.
Very much.
And to be fair,
anyway-
there's been plenty of sci-fi novels that have done this kind of storyline. The problem is that, well, we already know where I'm going with this. Go ahead, Joe.
So
Yes.
anyway, so in the ending, when this guy becomes president of his company again, what does he have an evil plan or something, or he
Nope,
just becomes?
he drops-
It just becomes CEO again.
Oh, goody! There you go, Jova. Now we're about to get the chapter that I'm sure you're gonna hate.
It's
How can it get any
let's
worse
read.
for Marcus?
Android
It's the
Riot.
breeding chapter, Jova.
I really hate Marcus's storyline.
I mean, seriously, the problem with Marcus' storyline is like, well, it wants us to root for Marcus, yet the routines and
Eastern Space. What
are
is
so bad.
what is this Kerbal Space Program?
And the problem is that Marcus gets rewarded for essentially brainwashing androids into helping him. And supposedly that makes the human opinion better of him in a
Or
way that
maybe
is
it's-
so insultingly easy
Or maybe
compared to
it's-
stuff like
oh,
the
you can
Civil
play
Rights
piano.
Revolution.
Also, or maybe it's Ace Combat, because if there's one thing that I learned from the Ace Combat games without having played it much, is that the Vulcan region is very shitty with its programs.
I have a question.
Oh, go on, play
Yes?
Moonlight Sonata.
Why is there a piano here in the first place?
A piano that
Why not?
functions, mind you.
Because
Why not?
If this building is abandoned, why is there a piano
I
here?
thought
Why
Again,
not?
a piano
I
can
thought he was gonna
function.
play, I thought he was going to play Elton John's Rocket Man for a minute.
Pretentious piano.
There you go. Now that Theo got his joke out of the way, let's move on.
Be
So
sad.
what does this apply to in the story?
Nothing. It's just for atmosphere, I guess. But
I guess Marcus is good with a piano.
Actually, let me think. Maybe it makes you think about something, Pedro. Well, depending, because it's a bit late in the game, but well, not that much. But how do you think the playing the piano minigame in Tifa's house will be implemented in Final Fantasy VII remake?
they'll probably have like they'll do like a QTE thing, maybe, or maybe just select
Yeah,
a key,
like this.
or maybe just literally have you select which key to press specifically. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Or maybe they'll just change the puzzle altogether, just to accommodate. Whatever. Moving on. Okay, like I was saying, basically, everybody, it wouldn't be a like I said, it wouldn't be a David Cage game without a forced, contrived, and unnecessary romance that doesn't need to be there. So, time for that.
Oh my god, are they actually reflecting on it?
Yep.
You know,
that's it. We're moving on.
What?
It's just simple acknowledgement.
Civil War? Wouldn't that imply that they're at war with themselves?
The humans hate us. They'll never give us our freedom.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Also, watching North again closely made me thought of something else, but I'll wait for another moment to actually point it out.
I guess one positive I can say is that thanks to this game, I've learned that there's a word called fatalistic. I wasn't aware that was a word.
It actually,
yeah, it is.
So Mortal Kombat games are fatalistic?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Actually, kinda, yes, considering how the story of the recent games has become increasingly depressing.
Alright, time for some more character development for North, kind of. Backstory shit.
Come on. And then Markus started poking her with a stick.
The past makes us who we are, yeah.
North, we're fighting together.
Come on. Hey.
I was nothing.
Oh.
All in a distributor program to satisfy humans.
There you go. She was
the sex box?
Yeah, she was a sex android.
Okay, actually, that gives me a good point to mention. Because if you notice also in the Eden Club, for example. So this futuristic society managed to develop androids with human-like feature just for the mere purpose of sex slaves, mind you. And there's not a single moment with huge breasts. This is basically the point. This is basically David clashing both with the message he was trying to convey, but at the same time trying to play safe for the mother feminist crowd.
But hold on. Yeah, now it's okay, but now we're going to comfort North.
Time for some robot sex.
Basically, there you go. Basically, we're gonna have sex Fern Gully style.
Oh my god, that's so lewd. Show it. Don't show it. Don't show it.
There you go. This is android
They're holding
sex.
hands.
Is that really? I mean, look
It's
at
funny
his
because
expression.
it's funny because holding hands is really considered the lewdest thing possible.
Baka!
There you go. See. There you go. I've unlocked the lover path.
Haven't you learned anything, Tio? Holding hands gets you pregnant.
There you go. Okay. For more seriousness, that was them literally seeing each other's memories, all of it. So now they know each other like entirely. So
yeah, it really is a moment of intimacy because they're really opening to each other like that.
But you know what Tio said does really bring up a point. Though, like David wants to show all these atrocities, but he can never really go all out with them.
Think about it for a second. If mankind was really that despicable and terrible, don't you think they would love to extremize their ideal sex? That.
Yeah, like seriously, they should be making female robots with expandable chests to literally be to their liking. I can't believe I'm saying this.
But unfortunately, we cannot have that. Otherwise, Miss Sarkeesian would be on our tail.
Again, I cannot believe I'm saying this. Terminator 3 had a better idea of that stuff. With the TX, who could literally expand her breasts.
But we're not here for this. We're here for actually start the proper protest in the daylight.
You see.
Hey, guys. Let there be light.
All right, Java. Are you ready to see Markus Jesus robot powers expanding to the horizon?
How can they make him more OP than he already is?
Well, let me think, Java. Right now, he's managed to convert the androids just by touching them. What's the next step?
Tapping into the radio waves and somehow managing to convert almost every android in the goddamn city.
You're close.
You're close. You see Shiro and Dwebs. See how Teo and Jova are now completely demonstrating like the true evil nature of humans right here.
I'm an unredeemable, despicable being.
Exactly. See.
You're all.
And yet we do. Here's the thing: we do it better than the actual game does. Like again, they talk about how bad humanity is, but again, here's a big point about this. Humanity did not expect androids to have human-like feelings. Like, let's be quite honest here. If humanity as a whole knew that androids would be like humans, do you really think we treat them this badly? No, we really wouldn't.
Not on the complete global level, mind you. I think there will be, mind you, David shows a percentage of humans who actually help androids, but it's very minuscule. The message here is that saying that the majority, the most majority of people would be more inclined to act violent and racist towards them. But the circumstances indicates and pretty much confirms that wouldn't be the case. The mere laws of probability will dictate that the balance will be more 50-50 at the very worst.
For example, let's again remember, with Markus working for Carl, Markus had to find enough lifestyle. As far as we knew, he was happy and all that.
Even he himself admits that he was living in a bubble. His only major fault was not knowing about what was going on in the rest of the world.
One thing that I love about Mark Twain's work, for those who don't know, Mark Twain was the one who wrote Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. One thing that I really like is how Tom Sawyer's family actually has, a slave, an African-American slave, as it was at the time. At the time that the story takes place, that was the thing. But they treat him really well. So, and don't get me wrong, yes, there are slaves in other parts of those books that do get treated poorly, because, that's how it was, sadly. But Mark Twain does not do these things so black and white. Allow me to remind you that those books were written in the 1800s, I think. When was it again?
The 19th century. Mind you, also, Mark Twain had a very bleak view of life in general. One of his last works, The Mysterious Stranger, basically condemns humanity on a global scale.
And yet he somehow
I really encourage you to read his works.
And yet somehow he did this better than David Cage is doing it in the modern.
Either read the book. Sorry. Either read the book or watch the anime made by Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata back in the day.
Wait, there's a Huckleberry Finn anime?
Yes, it was.
Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, it was done by Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata before they formed Ghibli.
It's funny because at least in my country, Tom Sawyer is actually taught, read in schools. But the problem is that it's made read as if it's like a children's storybook, as if it's a fairy tale. And while it's partially true, it also deals with those, heavy themes.
Basically, Jova, you know the whole controversy of adapting certain books into movies and how movies tend to almost always be not as good as the books and stuff like that. Well, back in the 1980s, Nippon Animation was having this thing where they would take famous works of literature and they would adapt them into 50-episode animes, and they were so fucking good. It was basically the books put to screen in a lot of ways, and they were incredible adaptations. So it's quite an interesting era of anime.
Time to open a manual.
Okay.
For some
Also, Teo, I hear you, Teo. I hear you.
Yes.
But at the same time, you did abandon your previous modem to its luck, didn't you? You did.
I did, because the new one was more efficient. Therefore,
see, you just said it. You just said it. See, you just admitted it. But anyway.
Oh, a car model.
But anyway, okay.
Don't try to distract.
And now, Jova, for some reason, now he can take over androids with the power of his mind.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I don't get that's why I think Markus that's why I think Markus is RA9, or at least the host of it, because now his powers are growing like that. He can just do whatever the fuck he wants. Here's the problem. When and how did Markus get these kind of powers? The closest thing you can imagine is if he got those at the junkyard from one of the parts that he got accidentally from one of the other androids. But the game never tells it, not even hints about it. So
wasn't your original theory that RA9 is like God for androids?
Well, remind you, that's how they're viewing it. They're viewing it as a religious figure, and look at that. Markus is the closest thing to the Jesus figure to it. Look at that.
I noticed
his mere presence rallied up a revolution, and now it's growing and becoming more powerful as a result. It's becoming a leading figure to these people and doing potentially, good things like that. So it's clear that there has to be some kind of connection to that. The problem is that the game is lacking that puzzle piece that it needs.
Well, let me put it like this. Let's think about this on the other side of the spectrum. Sure.
Detroit rules.
Okay, sure, to some people, what he's doing is a good thing, but let's think about also from the negative. Let's notice how he beckoned away a car model from the baby carriage she was literally pushing. Imagine if she had ended up leaving that baby carriage for anyone to snatch up.
Or in the middle of the street.
Or again, I think it's easy to imagine that some of these androids were actually happy with their lives, working with humans that were good to them, but then all of a sudden they're up and leaving them. What if those humans need their assistance? Like, literally do need their assistance. Like Carl literally needed him.
But Jova, I'm sorry, Jova, what about the inspiring music? Don't you feel enlightened? Don't you feel awoken?
It's good music, but it's not swaying me. Because this message is really stupid and doesn't pay attention to the elephant in the room. The fact is that there needs to be some equilibrium here.
Jazz hands.
So, Mr. Policeman, are you going to shoot unarmed protesters?
Probably.
I'm too old.
I love this line. I love this line, though. Listen here.
Genuine reactions.
That's classic David Cage right there.
Move along.
Where's my fire support?
Whatever, Terry, you're just a modem killer. Anyway, alright.
I despise technology to its core.
No more slavery! No more slavery! Come on, guys! Equal rights! Equal rights!
Press triangle to end slavery.
Eat the rich! Eat the rich!
We are people!
Feed the poor! Feed the poor!
Guys, I got one. Fuck the humans!
Fuck the humans! Freedom!
Hack the planet!
No more subtlety! No more subtlety!
So, guys, I'm just gonna talk about this. While it's nice that androids are getting their rights, let's not forget androids don't always need all the things that humans need, so they've
That
got
too.
life kind of a bit easier.
By their own definition, there can't be equal rights on a 100% level.
Like, okay. Well, an android can survive better in homeless conditions.
Alright.
Oh.
And to face the police.
And the army.
Alright, Leaves, how many stars are we right now?
20.
That's reassuring.
Wow, literally right down to the right.
Parlay.
If we're talking GTA 5, I guess 1.
All we want is to live free.
And Die Hard.
Roar.
Not looking for confrontation. We've done no harm. We have no intention.
Well, we damaged those windows,
But know that we are not going anywhere until we have secured our freedom.
See, look how evil they are. See, they won't even listen to him.
How dare you follow your orders?
All they want is to shoot something.
What do you think? This is an anime?
It's an animal.
If we attack, we'll start a war. We have to show them we're not violent. We should just stand there.
So, what to do, Jova? Mind you, this decision is actually crucial if you want to keep Markus alive, so good luck.
Let me guess. If you try war, then he'll die.
Yep, he's gonna sacrifice himself if you pick the wrong option.
There you go. We'll stand all ground.
And North didn't like that.
Oh,
and look at it.
But the public opinion uprised Rose.
Chance! We have to make a statement. We have to stay put no matter what.
Please, Marcus. We can't let them slaughter us without fighting back.
Okay, one more time.
Nope.
See, look how evil we are. But in more public opinion, the humans are starting to realize just how evil they are.
There you go. If you choose sacrifice, Markus will die here.
All right. And look how it raised a lot there.
Oh God, you're doing sacrifice.
Oh.
So yeah, Markus is dead.
Hold on to. There you go. The guy we freed from the Cyberlife factory to the rescue.
If you haven't freed it, Markus will die right here without being saved.
There you go.
So Marcus lives, huh?
Well, to be fair, I do like that me saving that android paid off. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it was a good, and at the same time, Jova, it was a great way of significantly raising public opinion in favor of us. So
true.
Because the evil SWAT team destroyed us.
Exactly.
I mean, granted, I won't deny that is surprisingly one of the more realistic takes for once.
Long gave his life to save Markus.
Here's the problem, though. Everything else in this story has been cartoonishly black and white, so one bout of good writing does not a good game make.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Like, you finally gave us a good Marcus scene, but...
Congratulations.
How late into the game are we?
We're almost done.
2/3.
We're actually... Let me see how many parts. After this... counting the extras part, 5 more parts.
Oh, wow.
So story-wise, but Jova was talking in story terms, so technically 4 more parts out of this.
So essentially, yeah, we're a good chunk of the way through.
Yep, basically.
Yeah.
True, Jova. But at the same time, what about that broken headset you threw away?
Oh, what? You mean the earbuds that wore out?
Yes.
You monster.
They were literally dead when I buried them.
But are you sure they were dead? Did you make sure they were dead, though?
They weren't working, so yes,
okay,
they were dead.
Okay, Joe, but so they were dead.
You tossed it out a window, you monster.
Okay, Joe, but so they were... Okay, Jova, I'll believe you that they were dead, Jova. But that brings up another question. Who killed them?
The batteries ran out.
Your abuser.
Maybe they ran out of juice that's kind of non-repairable because...
That's exactly the kind of excuse I would expect to hear from someone who has something to hide.
You puny human.
Wouldn't calling a human puny be considered derogatory on an android's counterpart?
I mean, look at Dwibs. Dwibs also threw away a poor headset. I mean,
Yes, but
Not even because it broke, because it was useless to him.
See?
Yes, but that headset's going to a different owner.
Really?
Oh, a different owner. I see what you're talking. Exactly. So the headset is just property to you, isn't it, Dwibs?
Sorry, Dave, you can't get away from me.
No, you said it. You said it. I've got it recorded. Dwibs. You said it.
Hang on a second.
You're a machine slave owner. Admit it.
We bought this right down.
Wait. Hang on. Siri, why are you laughing? You're the one that constantly bashes on your keyboard.
Yeah, you're a keyboard abuser, so don't act like you're innocent.
I'm massaging the keyboard, okay?
Sure you are.
Alright, folks,
Massaging,
before we're all detained for technology abuses, here for the next part.
They'll never take us alive.
They'll never take us alive, sure. See you, everybody.